Hi team, I hope you're all well. Today is Friday and I am particularly unwell. I look like death, I feel like death. I'm supposed to be doing final book support group sprints today at 1 o'clock. It's currently about 12:30. But I've ended up cancelling them because I just don't think that I can give 110%. I don't even think I can give 10%, to be perfectly honest. So I have cancelled them, which I'm a bit sad about because I was looking forward to them, and I have a chunk of a book left to go. So it turns out Becca's going to do some Patreon sprints at 1 o'clock. So I'm just going to hang out in the comments of her Patreon sprints and try and get through my book, but I just didn't have it in me today. I already find public sprints exhausting as it is without already being exhausted. So I have had a cold / the flu. I don't know what it is, but it feels worse than a cold, to the point that I've taken 2 COVID tests already. Both have been negative, but it felt like I did when I had COVID. Like, my whole body aches, I can't stop sleeping, I've had 0 concentration, I've read nothing for 2 days. So I feel really bad. I've got a really bad chesty cough, my nose won't stop running, and I feel awful. Today I do feel better than I did yesterday. Yesterday was the worst day for sure. I've had it since Tuesday, which is why it's not been a full week's vlog this week. But because I already said in my last reading vlog for last week, on Wednesday I did my wrap up and I was already feeling awful. So I haven't done a full week's vlog because I've not been feeling well, but I want to do a weekend vlog at least, because it's the start of Realmathon tomorrow and the last day of final book today. Not that I'm reading a final book, I'm reading a book in the middle of a series, and that book is Ruthless Fae by Zodiac Academy, by Expect This a Lot, by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valente. Is the second book in the Zodiac Academy. And before I started reading, I have just read a little bit. Before I started reading, I was on page 303. I'm now on page 331. I literally have like 202 pages to go. So I am hoping to finish this today so that it's in my March wrap up and doesn't go into April, because it won't count as a book for Realmathon or a book for my 30 books in 30 days, because I'm already well over halfway through the book. So I am tabbing. I don't know if you can see that. I am tabbing and making notes, like, not loads, but, you know, highlighting and making some notes. I don't even know if you can see any of that, whatever. But I would really like to read The Origins of a Bully, I think it's called, Zodiac Academy 0.5. It's the little novella that actually comes before Zodiac Academy 1. I would like to read that as the first book for Realmathon tomorrow morning. So I really need to get this finished for many reasons, but that being one of them. I am fucked. It's 5 minutes. So I've just put a sausage, bean and cheese Greg's pasty in the oven. You can get them from Iceland, and my life has been changed forever. So I've just put that in the oven, and then I'm going to get on with some reading. I don't imagine my chatty updates are going to be too long because I'm struggling, but I wanted to make sure that I gave you my thoughts on this when I finished it, but also that I got at least however many books I'm going to read over the weekend. I want to kick it off with a bit of a bang if I can. But I haven't seen any of my family, other than to nip to work on Wednesday and pick my work laptop up so that I could do work from home. My brother sent me home the minute he saw me. He was like, get your laptop and go home. He said, don't pass this around, we don't want it. I was like, okay, yes boss. So I haven't seen my family, I haven't seen Andy, and I'm missing everyone and feeling very isolated. I feel like I'm in isolation again, you know, and I'm locked in my house for 10 days with COVID, like I was 2 years ago. I'm not, I can leave at any point, but I just feel like I'm quite isolated because obviously nobody wants this, and it doesn't do anybody any favours for me to pass it on to someone else for it to come back round again. So it's better if I don't see anyone, but I'm missing everyone, and I'm hoping that it can clear up enough that I can go see them this weekend, but I just don't know if that's going to happen. So either I'm going to be stuck at home all weekend on my own, and I'm going to get a fuck ton of reading done, or I am going to be able to see my family and I'm going to get a smaller bunch of reading done, but obviously at least a book a day. So I wanted to let you know what I'm reading and my thoughts on that, rather than coming to you on Monday and being like, okay, this is what I read over the weekend. I feel like it's not as good. Also, it's another video. So I apologise for the state of me and how ill I am. It's starting to rain again. It's done nothing but rain for 2 days as well. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna go and hopefully finish this off before the end of the day, and hopefully not cough a lung up. But I will check back in with you when I've got an update for you. I've finished it. It's now 9:50, but I have been on the phone to Andy for a little bit, and also on Corpile doing a couple of Patreon bits, trying to rate this and then do some Patreon stuff. So I finished it around 10 to 9, I think. So still got plenty of the evening left to go. I'm kind of sat here now wondering what to do with myself. This would be a perfect opportunity for me to go up to bed, get an early night, and watch some more of The Night Manager, because I started that series. I got 4 episodes in and didn't carry on. So this would be a perfect opportunity to do that. Jade also suggested I continue on with Babel for a bit, because that is one of my April reads as part of my 30 books in 30 days. I'm about 130 odd pages in, I think. But she was like, maybe you could carry on with Babel for a little bit and just make a bit of a dent more in that, because no matter what I get up to with that, as long as I don't have like 300 pages left of it, it'll still count, because it's such a big book. But I might actually just go up to bed and read The Night Manager, watch The Night Shift Manager, because I've read this much of this book today, and although I'm not like exhaustively knackered, like physically knackered, I should be because I'm still unwell, I feel like I'm probably not in the right headspace. As much as I convince myself I will, I'm not in, can't even speak. As much as I'll convince myself I'm not in the right headspace for Babel right now. I really am not. So I feel like TV will be the best bet. So I've read this much of this today, and I loved this. 4.5 stars again. So if I gave half stars, it's gotten 4 on Goodreads, only because I know it can only get better from here, and I don't want to rate this so highly on Goodreads. Like, these books, as far as having a good time and enjoying myself, 100% 5 stars. They get a 10 on Corpile every single time. But I am fully aware of the fact that I'm not fully immersed with the characters yet. I'm getting to know them every single time there's a new chapter, but I'm not fully immersed with the characters yet. The writing isn't the best thing in literature that you've ever read, although chances are it will get better as the series go on. And the atmosphere just keeps getting more and more delicious, and I'm so excited for it to continue to get better, and I want my ratings to reflect that. I don't want me to be like, this has got me so hooked and in so much of a chokehold that that's it, it's 5 stars no matter what. I want to rate it properly, despite the fact that it is good fun and I'm having a great time with it, and it does give me that 5-star feel. But I've got to be honest about how I'm rating it, especially with Corpile as well. I can't just be like, oh yeah, this is like my new favourite toy, so it's 5 stars, it's the best thing since sliced bread. Because realistically, I mean, when I look back on it, once I've finished the whole series, maybe it will be a case of it's one of my favourite series of all time. It just gave me that much of a good feeling that I loved it so much deep in my bones. It's not, you know, it's not the Poppy War, it's not Jade City, it's not these, you know, it's not Brandon Sanderson, it's not these epic books that just make you feel all of the emotion all of the time and have the epic writing and the epic world building and all of the epic things all of the time. But it makes me happy, it makes me sad. I had a tear in my eye at the end of the book. It makes me feel all of the feels, and I squeal into the book, and I just, you know, it just, sometimes I just cannot with the characters, and it makes me feel all the feels, and it makes me happy. And sometimes that's just what you want from a book. You don't need it to be anything epic and just complete and utter perfect literature. You don't need it to be that. You just need it to make you happy and make you feel things and make you want to immediately pick up the next book in the series. Do you know how rare it is for me to do that? It is so rare, hence the reason why I have an entire readathon for final books and ongoing series. Because it's so fucking rare. So yeah, I mean, I say that, but I read The Dragon Republic and Burning God back to back this month. I also read, I mean, I did it, I was going to say I also read Shadows of Self and The Bands of Mourning back to back, but I didn't do that out of enjoyment. I did that out of pure self-preservation, because if I hadn't picked up The Bands of Mourning at that point in time, I probably never would have. So I had to do that in order to save my own fucking bacon so that I could continue on with Sanderson. But I fucking love this. It was great. I want to pick up book 3 right this second. The problem with doing that is that I am not in a position to do that, because I am planning on picking up book 0.5 for my first read of tomorrow. So, and I can't start book 3 realistically without having read book 0.5 really. I can. I just don't want to. I want to finish book 0.5 before I pick up book 3. I feel like this is definitely a perfect time to be picking up this book as well. I feel like it's gonna cast a light over 2 particular characters very, very well, and I think it's gonna be a great time to read it. So I'm excited to pick that up tomorrow. Whether or not I get to anything else, I don't know. It's gonna depend on how I feel, because if I feel better tomorrow, I will probably venture out and go see my family and go see Andy, because I miss them all dearly, especially Thomas. Tara phoned me today, FaceTimed me today with Thomas, and his face immediately lit up when he saw me, and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine, bud." I just miss him so much. But yeah, if I'm feeling better tomorrow and more bright, I probably will venture out and go see my family. But if not, then it's going to be a day of reading, because there's nothing else for me to do. I may go on a walk and try and make myself feel better. I haven't really left the house since Wednesday, other than which was to go and pick my laptop up from my brother's. So realistically, I haven't properly left my house since Sunday. So I probably should go out and get some fresh air, whether it be a walk or go see my family or whatever. But either way, I'm going to read The Origin of a Bully, or whatever the fuck it's called, book 0.5 of the Zodiac Academy tomorrow, and then I can make a start on Zodiac Academy 3. I might try and keep the Zodiac Academy books as my physical reads for like the evenings and make my way through them that way. And if I can do them in a week, like I managed to do Zodiac Academy 2, although the books do get bigger, and the next one after Zodiac Academy 3, I'm going to pick up Ruthless Fae, which is the first one in the Ruthless Boys series. So, but if I could do that, I could get through like 4 of the books in the series throughout April. I'm going to aim for 2. I'm going to aim for Zodiac Academy 3 and Ruthless Boys 1, because I'm not dumb enough to put that kind of pressure on myself. But if I do more, that's great. But I'm going to aim for 2. Because I've also got Babel and a couple other chunky books I wouldn't mind getting to as well in the month of April. And I'm trying to do 30 books in 30 days. So I've got to be realistic about it. It's wild, because I've got this thing in my head that I could probably actually read 30 chunky books in 30 days. Which is absolute bullshit. There's no way I could. Sorry, I just turned my telly off. There we go, that's better. But yeah, anywho, I'm going to go. It's Friday night. I've already done plenty of like little clips for this evening. It's going to be a weekend vlog. I don't know how much I'm going to get actually over the weekend, so this will bulk it out a little bit. But I'm going to go, I think, and continue watching The Night Shift Manager, which, by the way, I've been really enjoying. I'm 4 episodes in. I think it's great. And we know we're all watching it for the plot, right? This being the plot. So I'm having a great time with it. I think it's great. So I'm glad to get back to that, I think, and it will force me to just relax for the rest of the evening now, and maybe I can get up early tomorrow and smash out a book or two. I might try and read a manga in the morning as well. We'll see. So I'm gonna go. Hopefully I feel better in the morning and the worst days are over Thursday, and I feel miles better tomorrow. But I will check back in with you then and let you know how I'm getting on. Okay, hey, it is Saturday. It's Saturday afternoon. It's 3:20. I have had a very slow start to the day. I say that I read a whole book in bed, but I've had a really slow start to the day. I have got such a bad headache right behind my eye, and it's probably because I've been coughing so much and blowing my nose so much, but I think I'm actually surprised it's taken this long to kick in. So there's that. But I did finish a book this morning, as I've just mentioned, and it was Zodiac Academy, Origins of an Academy Bully, which is book 0.5. I don't know if you can see that. Book 0.5 in the Zodiac Academy series. You can't see it, whatever. It's only 127 pages, so it won't get me any extra points for being over 200 pages for Realmathon, but I actually have no idea how many points this will get me. Maybe I should get my laptop and we can do that together. Okay, I have the things set up on my laptop. So, I am Team Cyrus, which is the romance team. This book is not a romance, so we're starting off well. I read Zodiac Academy, Origins of an Academy Bully. And it was 127 pages. In the 48 I already thought no. Next. Were you increasing your realms magic or decreasing another realms for magic? I thought I might get the option during the thing, but apparently not. So let me have a look, because I don't know what this will qualify for. Reader host fave. No. Okay, so we're gonna go for defend, which is positive points, increasing. Next. And we're gonna go for a book with a map, multi-POV, book with mental health rep. I don't know whether I can count that or not, to be honest. Spell your name on the book. Do I count it? It's got physical and mental abuse, and there's like a... You know what? There is grief at the end of this as well. Let's tick it. So I've got 4 there, which is great news. And bonus prompts. A team genre, no. A hybrid genre. In general, the Zodiac Academy is a fantasy romance series, but this one specifically is just fantasy. Indie, yes. I have no idea how many points that's just put me through, but okay, cool. Fair enough. So that has now been recorded, which is 6. So, cool beans. I need to make sure I keep track of what I've recorded, because if I don't, I will forget. ADHD and all that. Cool. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do next is actually pick up a book off of my TBR and go for Tangleweed and Brine by Deirdre Sullivan. I'm going to try and get the audiobook for this because my headache is really hurting and I don't think I'm in the mood to physically read anything else today. Because I did physically read Zodiac Academy. This one does have more than 200 pages. Oh no, it doesn't actually. It's a great start to the week, to the readathon. 166. Oh well, it is what it is. At least this one's on my actual TBR. So I think I'm going to pick that up next. This is a collection of short stories, bewitched retellings of classic fairy tales with brave and resilient heroines, tales of blood and intrigue, betrayal and enchantment, not for the faint-hearted or damsels in distress. Nice. And it's a YA book as well, so I'll get a point for that and the fairy tale point if they're in the same thing. So I think that's what I'm going to pick up next, just because I really could do with an audiobook, and I want to kind of start attacking some of the books that are on my TBR rather than just going in head first with books that aren't on my TBR. So there is that. So I'm going to give that a bash, I think. Whether or not I finish it today, I don't know. I still don't know if I'm seeing Andy or not yet. I fell asleep again this morning, and then I think he's fallen asleep again, so it is what it is. But yeah, so I'm gonna go get started on Tangleweed and Brian, and I'll check back in with you and I've got an update for you. Depends on how you want to look at it. It's currently 1:47 in the morning. I don't know if you can see that, but there you go. And I've got Kaylee's reading sprints on. I think I'm actually going to try and get some sleep in a minute, but I wanted to give you a quick update on my reading because I finished my second book. I started my third, but I wanted to tell you about it now. So I have, my battery's dying, of course it fucking is. I have finished Tangleweed and Brine by Deirdre Sullivan, which was gifted to me. So this was a collection of fairy tales and it was good. I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it. The narrator was really good as well. I did the audio just to get through it a little bit quicker. I have a headache. Well, I haven't now, but I did have a headache for most of the day. And I just needed an audiobook in all honesty. So I did audio this one and it was good. I enjoyed it. Some of them were quite dark and quite twisted. Considering that it's a YA one. But I enjoyed it nonetheless and gave it 3 stars. And then I did decide to move on to the rom-com agenda, which was gifted to me by Claire. And I feel really bad about the fact that I'm doing this, but I got to page, where did I get up to? I've left a thing in it so I could tell you where I got up to. I didn't get that far in, fucking hell. I got to page 75 and I'm gonna DNF it. I'm really sad because this had me hooked with Beach Read Meets When Harry Met Sally in this love letter to classic rom-com movies and to anyone who has ever pined for the wrong person. So we're following Eli and Leah, and basically we start off with Eli proposing to his girlfriend of 4 months on a dock, basically, in which Leah has found herself a little bit stuck and overhearing the whole conversation. Victoria, Eli's girlfriend, is moving away for a sabbatical, and he, in his panic that she could cheat on him or move on or forget about him, has proposed to her. She's turned him down, and now 5 months later, Eli ends up, he's like really down in the dumps. He's put a load of weight on. He's really sad about Victoria and all this lot, and instead of his mates being like, dude, come on, you need to get over it now, like there's no fucking point, like get over it, go out there and meet someone new and, you know, work on yourself. Or don't meet someone new, just work on yourself, you know, like normal 30-year-olds would do. They're encouraging him to change himself so that he can try and win her back when she comes back. And it all seems very childlike to me. I don't know, I would expect this of 16-year-olds 17-year-olds, maybe even 18-year-olds, but not 30-odd-year-olds. And I'm just really shocked about it. They end up going into this clothing store in which it turns out Leah works in. Eli didn't see Leah at the time when he broke up with Victoria, so she recognises him but not the other way around. And I think I've read a couple of reviews, and I think the way that it's going to go is that it's going to be him pining for his ex-girlfriend for the majority of this book. Something's going to happen and then he's going to realise he likes Leah. And I just don't like the direction it's going. I don't like Eli as a character. I think Leah's great, but it's not enough for me to stick with it. The nostalgia of the movies being dragged in is great. I like that. But I don't know, I'm just not enjoying it. And I think because I'm doing 30 books in 30 days, I need to be quick with these DNFs if I'm going to do them, because I considered continuing till at least like halfway just so I could count it for Realmathon, but I just can't waste my time doing that. If I'm going to get to halfway with it, I might as well finish it off. I did have the audiobook on Scribd, and it wasn't a particularly long audiobook, but even from this point on, I think I still had like 3 hours 45 minutes, and I just can't waste the time on it if I'm not enjoying it. So, and after seeing the reviews as well, because I wasn't enjoying it, I just focused on the negative reviews on Goodreads. I'm not going to enjoy it from what they've been saying. So it is a shame. Claire, I'm really, really sorry, my love. I hate to do that on a book that's been gifted to me, but I'm just not enjoying it. I'm not having a good time with it. It's not what I thought it was going to be. And I just think that the way that they're all acting is very, very childlike. So I don't know what I'm going to pick up next. I'm unsure. I'm thinking either the Dead Romantics or maybe even in the morning I might pick up a manga. Potentially Witch Hat Talia or a copy of Dreaming Sun. But yeah. For the time being, I think I am going to go to bed. I'm not particularly tired. I only got up at like 2 o'clock this afternoon, but I do need to get some sleep so that tomorrow I can be more productive than I've been today and hopefully be feeling better. So I'm going to do that. But yeah, really sad about this because I was really looking forward to it. But I will let you know in the morning what I'm going to pick up next and keep you posted on what's going on with that. But yeah, I'm going to go. Just wanted to give you an update. Okay, good morning. It's 20 to 12 and it's Sunday. I've just watched the F1 replay because it was at 6 o'clock this morning because it was in Australia. A little bit pissed off with Sky F1 because it was meant to start at 9:30 because the race was so delayed because there were so many incidents. They were late by like half an hour. It didn't start till just gone after 10. However, they didn't put like a notice on the screen. So considering I got up at 9 o'clock and managed to avoid social media and all my F1 chats because I'm in quite a few, I then saw a recap of all the highlights of the race and then the results. And I was fucking furious. How hard is it for them to just put like a banner on the screen saying, we're delayed, race replay will start at just gone 10 o'clock. Like, how hard is that? I'd have turned the telly off and turned it back on again at 5 to 10. How hard is that? I was absolutely livid. Not only that, but my parents were waiting to watch it and my brother, and they all saw it as well. And we'd all been keeping quiet and off social media so we weren't spoiled. Fucking fuming. Anyway, I've watched it now. Good result for Lewis, very happy. Sad for George. And Ferrari's bad luck just keeps going. So, today's plan, I have just given my patrons the chance to vote on what book I'm going to read today. So on Wednesday, I did start the dramatisation of Akatar, and I was debating whether or not to go back to this because it won't take me too long to get, it will take me the day, but it won't take me too long to get through. I did get to just over 100 pages on Wednesday, but I haven't picked it back up since. So I explained this to my patrons and I said, do I pick this up or do I pick up a book that's actually on my TBR? Both of these are fantasy romance, so they'll both get me extra points. And I think this one will get me indie points as well because it's by HQ. Oh no, an imprint of HarperCollins. It will not get me indie points, so that's fine. So I gave them the option and they have voted The Dead Romantics, which is absolutely fine. It's actually a book on my TBR. So This will be the 3rd book that's actually on my TBR, because I did DNF the rom-com agenda last night, which was also on my TBR. If you remember, I did this video in which I did a try chapter tag with these and then read one of the books, and this was high up there to read, but I did end up reading Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score instead. So I'm looking forward to going back to this one. This is following Florence Day, who's a ghostwriter for one of the biggest authors in publishing. The only problem is her new editor doesn't know that she's the ghostwriter. She just thinks that she's the author's PA. So she has unfortunately fallen out of love with the idea of love. She thinks it's all a con, and she now is struggling. She's got writer's block because she writes romances, and her publisher is saying that she's got like he's refusing her to give her an extension on her deadline basically, and she's now really struggling. She's got like a few days left to come up with this manuscript of a book that he needs to see. So the editor is called Benji. Anyway, one night tragedy strikes and she ends up going home, and the last thing she expects to see is the ghost of Benji at her front door. So Benji's died, fuck knows how, I haven't got to that point yet. Benji's died and he's now at her front door, and I think it's going to be a romance between her and her ghostly editor. And I'm really intrigued by this. I've heard great things, so I'm really looking forward to picking this one up. All of that is in the synopsis, by the way. I've not spoiled anything. All of it's in the synopsis, but I am looking forward to it. I really enjoyed the first chapter, so I am hoping to make my way through all of this today, and it will get me some good points as well, because it's 344 pages and it is in my genre. It's a romance as well as being a hybrid. So I think, can I spell my name on this as well? S-T-E-P-H. I can. It's a really good, I really like that one because my name's quite easy to spell. So I'm really enjoying that prompt. It's given me quite a few points. I've managed it on 2 of the books that I've actually finished so far, so that's great news. So yeah, if I go for those points, then I'll be able to get that one as well. But yeah, looking forward to this one. So that's what I'm going to pick up this afternoon. I have just imported all the footage so far from this vlog. I haven't started editing it yet, but I also filmed a haul, March haul yesterday. So I've got all of that as well. That's going to be a crappy one to edit because I was still very, very snuffly. I still am yesterday, and there's a lot of me coughing and sniffing in that video that I need to cut out. So yeah, but I'm going to start getting on with some reading now because I finished the F1 catching up. So those are my plans today. I'm going to be reading this. If I can fit a manga in as well, I will do. But I do have Spider-Man Far From Home watch along with my patrons at 7 o'clock this evening. So I will be stopping for that. But maybe I can read something a bit later on as well. But yeah, I will keep you posted, let you know how I'm getting on, and I'll check back in with you later. Also, completely forgot, but I wanted to address that the other night I kept saying Night Manager about the Night Agent TV series. I don't know why I kept saying The Night Manager. I'm sure that's an entirely different program with Tom Hiddleston in. I've never even seen it, but I'm sure that's another program. I meant The Night Agent. I finished it. It was fantastic. Absolutely love it. Also, am I manifesting Summerween? Yes. I've missed it. I missed Spring Flingoween, so I'm really hoping that we get Summerween this time around. But anyway, I just wanted to come on and say that. Oh, my nose is so red. Okay, it's 6:25. My favourite book of the year. I fucking loved this. It was so good. I finished it, by the way. I was going to update you like halfway through, but I just couldn't stop reading. This was so fucking good. I absolutely loved it. It was a lot. There was so much emotion in it. I cried, I laughed, I had goosebumps for the most part reading it. It was so fucking good. And it's all very bizarre, very funny, and at the same time absolutely heartbreaking because of the other stuff that she's going through, and everything with Benji as well. And I just absolutely loved it. And the twist that happened around here probably further in. Here, did not see it coming. Actually, it was more than that. Did not see it coming. Didn't see it coming. Absolutely loved it. Fantastic. Loved this book. So fucking good. 5 stars. It was perfect. The atmosphere, it just made me feel so many things. I absolutely loved it. I already want to reread it. It was so fucking good. This would be perfect for a book club read. Absolutely perfect. It wasn't necessarily smutty, but I kind of wish we'd read it for literature, because I would love to discuss this with people. There are so many things that you could talk about, and I just absolutely loved it. There's so many things I want to tell you, but they're all spoilers, so there's no way I can tell you. I think the synopsis does a great job of making you feel like it's told you everything, but telling you almost nothing. I think it does a great job of that, and I just fucking loved it. It was great. I can't believe I waited so long. All of my devices are pinging because I've got my Spider-Man watch along coming up. I can't believe I waited so long to pick this up. And I'm so happy with myself for pre-ordering the Feralute edition, for ordering the Feralute edition. So that should be coming soon, and I'm really fucking excited. So yeah, my first romance book done as well for this readathon, but also my 3rd book off of my TBR now as well, because obviously I've already mentioned the rom-com agenda was on my TBR, but I've DNF'd it, so I'm smashing it so far. I've got absolutely no idea what I'm going to pick up next, I'm not going to lie, because I've got this watch along, so I may read a manga later. What short books have I got on my TBR? Oh, you know what I do want to read is 10 Things You Should Know About Dinosaurs, but I'm not sure this is the sort of thing that I could read by the end of this evening. The text in it is quite large though, to be fair. Maybe I might save that for next week, but maybe I will pick up a manga later. I don't know. I'll come back and let you know though, but I need to start getting myself ready for this watch along. Because the live show is going to start in 20 minutes and we're going to watch the movie in a half hour, so I just wanted to come on and gush about Dead Romantics, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, so I loved it. It gave me all of the feels. It was so fucking good. So good. Pick it up. I would recommend it. Pick it up. Content warnings for Death of a Loved One. Obviously it deals with death a lot, but it's done in such a beautiful way. I absolutely loved it. Honestly, for part of it I forgot what we were reading about. It was just done so well. Absolutely loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Perfect. 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 Okay, I'm gonna go get myself ready for this live show. I'll let you know when I've decided what I'm picking up next. Hi team. Okay, it's currently Monday morning and I'm here to wrap this vlog up. I'm currently doing Patreon Magic Monday sprints and it's going well so far, despite the fact that I slept horrendously last night. I barely slept at all. Definitely saw 4:30. So I'm here to wrap up this reading vlog over the weekend. I did manage actually to make a really good start on April. Let me just take this out because it was a DNF. But I did manage to make a good start on April and I'm really happy about it. I managed to read 4 books over the weekend, plus the book I finished on Friday, which I'll tell you about in a second. And I'm stoked that so much progress has been made. So let's go through what I did manage to finish. So Friday was the last day of Final Book Support Group and also March, and I did finish Zodiac Academy Ruthless Fate on Friday, which I gave 4 stars, 4.5 stars if I gave half stars, and you could do that on Goodreads. Absolutely love this series, very excited to continue and trying to find the right moment to do so in this month, because I would like to get through a couple more of these during the month of April, but absolutely loved this. 4 stars. Then I started April off with continuing with Zodiac Academy and read Origins of an Academy Bully, which is book 0.5 in the series. For those of you that are wanting to start this series, I recommend reading this after book 2. I think it's a really good way to go into the story completely blind, knowing nothing about any of the characters. This gives you an insight into 2 of the main characters and their relationship. But it will give you an insight into that, and you will go into the book knowing more about these 2 characters. The thing is, I think I like the way that you have to go through books 1 and 2 to find out the information that you do about these 2 characters, and then this just shines a light on it even more. It goes back into the past and explains why that situation is the way it is and exactly what happened in that moment, and I like the way it's done that. I like finding out little bits of the information and piecing it all together in my head first and then getting more information on it, rather than having this information going in and knowing more about those 2 characters than the actual 2 main characters. So I would recommend reading this after books 1 and 2, but you read it wherever you fancy reading it, but that's just my recommendation. Obviously I'm a novice with the Zodiac Academy series, but I think this was a perfect place to read this one. Gave this one 4 stars, I think. If that's wrong, I'll put it here. Then I did move on to Tangleweed and Brine by Deirdre Sullivan. This was on my TBR and it was picked for me by a patron. It was picked for me by Victoria. So thanks Victoria, A, for sending me this, and B, for putting it on my Patreon pick. And I did just get her latest book as well. She sent me the next book she wants me to put in the pot. So yeah, I did read this one. I gave it 3 stars. This is a collection of fairy tales, a YA collection of fairy tale retellings, and it was good. I liked the illustrations as well that were going throughout the book. They were very, very pretty. So yeah, very nice collection of fairy tale retellings. Then I did start the rom-com agenda by Jane Denker. I got 75 pages in and DNF this one. Wasn't a huge fan of it. Wasn't a fan of the way the characters were acting. Wasn't a fan of one of the male MC. It was not for me. And reading a lot of the reviews as well, it was a similar story for a lot of people. I think had I not been doing 30 books in 30 days, I might have forced myself through this just for the sake of Realmathon, but I've got to be really picky with my books this month, and if I'm not feeling them, some may get temporary DNFs. This is a permanent one. I don't think I'm going to come back to it, but thank you Claire for gifting it me. I do appreciate it. I am sorry that it's not a win. I then did find my current favourite book of the year, which is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I gave this book 5 stars. It was absolutely perfect. And it was the great book to go into after DNFing the rom-com agenda, so I'm so glad that I picked this one up. My patrons did pick this one for me. It was between this and Akatar, and I'm really glad I decided to go, well, my patrons picked this one for me in the end. I had the best time. 5 stars, favourite book of the year, absolutely fantastic. Everyone should be picking it up. Also, the audiobook is really good, would recommend. And then last night I did get in bed and I read Dreaming Sun Volume 5 by Ichigo Takano. I really enjoy this series. By no means is it perfect. This got 3 stars. They've all gotten 3 stars so far, but I just enjoy them as a palette cleanser. They're very quick to get through. It's following this young girl called Shimana, who in the first book, she basically is feeling quite isolated at home. Her mum's passed away, her dad's remarried, he's now got a new baby, and she's feeling a little bit isolated, and she runs away from home one day. Comes across this guy in the park who's lay on a bench, and he gets talking to her and he's like, I want you to do three things for me. Number 1, go and locate my keys. They're at your school with one of the guys that lives with me. Number 2, I want you to tell me why you've run away from home. And number 3, I want you to fall in love. So he ends up giving her a place to stay. Now, don't get me wrong, that in this, I don't think age gap is like a really big deal in Japan. I'm not sure if that's a true thing or not, or just in Japanese manga in general, but I think there is quite the age gap between these two in here with the romance, and it is quite surprising. I do find myself getting the ick a little bit, but nonetheless I do enjoy it. It's a very good kind of just slice of life book, and I'm enjoying making my way through it. It's a nice palette cleanser and they're easy to get through, so I'm having a good time with them. 3 stars for this one. So great start to April. I haven't made loads of points so far for Realmathon, but I'm making points nonetheless, and I'm making progress on 30 books in 30 days. So that does mean that on the 3rd of April, I am, well, let's say the 2nd, because yesterday was like the last day of this vlog. I am 4 books in, which is great. Doubling the amount of books that I am days. It's always a good start. But I am hoping to make more progress this week on maybe shorter books so that I can spend the rest of the month. This is my theory, is that if I read a bunch of shorter books first, I can spend the rest of the month focusing on some chunkier books, which would be great. Because there's a lot. I've kind of gone into April wanting to read literally everything. So, which gets me to a point where I finish a book and I'm like, right, what do I pick up next? I've got absolutely no idea. I'm coming up with a solution for it. It's going to be a good time, I think. So this is where I'm at, 4 books down, 2nd of April. It's the 3rd today, but 2nd of April, 4 books down. Having a great time. And if you want to see how I get on with the rest of the month, continue watching my vlogs. I am going to do like a wrap up, I think, at the end of April, in the beginning of May, and let you know everything that I read 30 books 30 days. I usually do quarterly wrap ups, but I don't want to have 30 books lying around the library for the next 3 months, because that would be annoying. So it's bad enough as it is having January, February and March sitting around, because honestly I didn't realise I'd read so much already in the first 3 months of the year. So about to sort that out today. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I do apologise for being poorly throughout the entirety of this. I hope that I've managed to cut out most of the sniffling and coughing, so you don't have to deal with that, but hopefully I've managed to sort that out. But I hope you have enjoyed this video. Chat to me in the comments down below. How is your April going? Are you signed up for Realmathon? And if you are, what team are you on? Go Team Cyrus. And I shall see you in the next video. Bye for now.